Yay, going live. Welcome to my channel. I am Anana Snow. Please say hi in the live chat and let me know that you are here. Omnimatter Ergo Logos Inanna Inanna Naki Aika. Omnimatter Ergo Logos Inanna Inanna Naki Aika. Omnimatter Ergo Logos Inanna Inanna Naki Aika. Please help us get to the golden age and show us how to become the best versions of ourselves possible. Thank you so much. Just got some more hot water for some hot tea. I've been drinking hot tea since I was like in elementary or middle school, so it's not really very common. At least it wasn't that common. Any of my friends, none of them were drinking hot tea. So, yes. All right, let's see what's going on in the live chat. Hi to Aaron. AA was in here earlier as well. Queen IC is here as well. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Aaron says, I can look around and keep an eye out. I know some anonymous people were talking about starting something up. Not sure if much came out of it yet, though. We are talking about alternative sites. Aaron mentioned BitChute, and that's mainly like for uploading videos and stuff, not really a community page. I brought up MeWe, which is pretty decent, actually. I like how similar MeWe is to Facebook, but one of the features that I really like on MeWe is how you can react to posts or comments with any emoji. So, it can be a lot more fun than just, a like, a heart, crying. You can actually puke on people's pictures. Speaking of MeWe, I just started the Transvestigation Disclosure now. So if you're on there, add me and get ready to join some groups. Queen Icy said peace and prosperity. Yes, the golden age of peace, prosperity, and the protection of the innocents, which is the most important one for me, to protect the innocent, to use the strength that we have, the dominion that we have, to not only protect our own children, right, but the children of other species. Hey Fabrice, have a great day. Aaron said he's drinking non-alcoholic organic ginger beer, homemade. That's interesting. How do you make ginger beer? You made it yourself, or you bought it from somebody else who homemade it? That's really interesting. UniRock2 says, you do know the definition of free will would be having the control to make good, evil, or midline decisions. So how can freedom to choose be evil? Only the choice of evil is. LOL. Wow. I didn't even get into that topic, and the little picture that says has the question, is free will evil? So I'm not sure why you're coming in with this LOL wow thing and acting like anybody even said that it was evil in the first place, because I never did. It was literally a question that was asked to me, and I'm here to discuss it. I haven't gotten into it yet. So anyways, AA says, how everyone, how is life? It is great here. I'm inside today because it is really just awful weather outside. It's been pouring down rain for the past maybe like 3 or 4 days, maybe. I'm not really sure. But really violent winds. Thankfully, I live in the midst of a bunch of trees, so it kind of breaks up the wind for me. But some of my neighbors don't have the trees, so yeah, it's getting whipped around. Hey Sage, how's it going? MeWe is nice like that. Yeah, in reference to, I believe, being able to react to different things with different emojis, which, yeah, is really cool. AA says, thoughts about alcohol. I see that there's a difference between like spirits, liquor, hard liquor, and beer and wine. Although I don't really like beer myself. During the golden age, I think that beer and wine, especially champagne, my favorite, should be available, and the alcohol, or the liquor, I mean, the hard spirits, the, spirits in a bottle. You're drinking a spirit. I actually worked as a bartender for just a little bit when I worked at the Kirby in Grand Haven, Michigan, and I felt like I was, pouring up a potion and handing it to them and seeing which character they would turn into after they drank it. So yeah, I'm definitely against liquor, but champagne especially I like. Obviously, these things can be abused, even champagne or beer. So, moderation is key. Queen Icy says, your thoughts on the zombie apocalypse? It's an interesting question, because I've never really put too much thought into it. Obviously, we're shown in the media all sorts of zombie programming, and I think that one thing that serves to do is actually to desensitize us to the whole idea of humans eating other humans. When crap hits the fan, mainly in big cities, there are going to be some people that resort to eating flesh because, they have these concentrations of people in big cities that don't have their own property, they don't have room to farm, and then when they cut off the food supply, then what's going to happen? Especially on, big cities that are on islands, and there's only one way in and one way out, or very limited ways in and ways out. So as far as the zombie apocalypse goes, okay, bless you. As far as the actual dead humans coming back to life, I'm not really on board with that. But yeah, I'm open to any, if there was a paper that showed that this, not just a paper, you know what I mean? It had to be something actually believable to back it up. Anything in this world is possible. So yeah, I don't really know. Aaron says, SodaStream, Indian tonic, and ginger kombucha. Bless you, with 1 drop of ginger essential oil. Oh, that's really interesting. The SodaStream is pretty cool, how you can make so many different sodas with just one machine, one stream. Thoughts about jewelry? Well, since I'm wearing jewelry, I think, most people don't really wear jewelry with the most meaning behind it. Obviously, if you're married and you have a ring on your finger, there's meaning behind that. But from my studies, it can be even more complex than that. Different stones, for instance, have different magical properties. So when you put stones on you, for instance, this is tectate from the heavens, this, force field, if you will, area around it, I'm asking for, Inanna, my higher self, my true self, to basically filter any negative energies from me. So this is over my heart chakra. I have lapis lazuli here, and it's kind of, in this whole area, kind of overlapping and affecting these different chakras. I used to wear my lapis lazuli tektite, or that didn't even make any sense. They're two different things. My lapis lazuli choker on my neck here, but unfortunately it broke. So jewelry can be used for magical purposes. The different stones and combination with the stones and the different metal that's being used as well. They have, if you look into grimoires, they'll talk about making like a certain ring on a certain day under this moon for a certain purpose, and how different fingers that you can wear the ring on can help with different properties. So if you wanted to have like a ring for prosperity, you would choose, a stone that corresponds with prosperity, maybe gold, to put it in, and then you might make it on like a Thursday night under the full moon, and then wear it on the finger that corresponds with Thursday or whatever, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, it's pretty interesting what you can do with jewelry and other magical things. AA says, thoughts about high vibrational clothing. That is interesting. not something that I have looked into, but it does make sense that, you know, the different fibers, different materials that you can make things with have different vibrations. So you're bringing that, you know, to the table, if you will, to create what you are creating. And the powers that be obviously are going to want us in the most low vibration, even, you know, clothing. I wonder, I've never even looked into it, but how mixing the materials also can create different frequencies, and that's an interesting thing that I'm gonna look into a little bit later. Aaron says we are in one right now. LOL, zombie apocalypse. Yeah, it could be seen as, you know, people that are not asleep, especially people that are not asleep that are walking around eating flesh. So yeah, it's interesting. AA says thoughts about 5G. 5G is definitely a weapon that is being used against us. The specific frequency is designed to, when they crank it up to the 60 gigahertz frequency, it's going to heat up the area that these, you know, the panels are pointed towards, right? They are creating a grid, and it'll heat up the area, and the oxygen is going to heat up the oxygen molecules themselves will heat up and rise away, and we're all going to be left with no oxygen to breathe. Obviously, there are other issues that 5G causes. There's an interesting, spill this tea on my lap. Let's see if I can find it. There's an interesting interview with maybe like an ex-military person who is talking about different ways that they could use frequency to, like, if they had a big crowd of people, they could shoot a frequency into the crowd to make them disperse, to make them have headaches, to whatever. I think I myself have felt an energy weapon that was directed at me before. So yeah, I know they're very real and definitely being used against us. Queen IC says, I think it's associated with the jab, and I would definitely agree. Multiple weapons are being used against us, and the viruses that they're sending out, they create this microwave situation, and the viruses thrive in this situation. So, you know, you not only have the virus that's hurting you, but you also have these 5G towers that are blasting you with frequencies that are lowering your immune system and causing their own issues on top of the viruses. And they have been putting out more and more, right? As far as viruses go, I know there's a lot of misinformation that has been spread throughout the community and widely accepted because most people, they don't know any better. The misinformation is mainly, you know, based on virologists and what they do and how they don't isolate viruses. If you knew what the genetic engineers do to create the virus and how they all isolate the viruses that they create, then it would be a different story. But since people don't know anything about genetic engineering, haven't ever talked to anybody who's in this field, it's easy for them to pass misinformation to convince humans. What was that? To convince humans that their own bodies created the virus, when your body cannot. Like, a virus is not natural at all. It does not exist naturally. You know, they have to go into a lab and actually put it together to release it to get us sick. And, you know, these viruses aren't just mutating and getting better over time. They create new ones, even worse ones, and then release them, you know, periodically. Every flu season, you know, they put out a new flu or whatever to continue the madness, the disease, the illusion that Mother Nature is doing all of this, all of the big pharma and their multi, I don't even know, trillion, gazillion, what's the number? How much does big pharma make? every jab, every sickness. They can get you scared and get in and get your flu shot. It's like more and more money in their pockets ultimately until you're dead. I'm good. Thank you so much. Ginger is helpful when Aaron says ginger is helpful for when trying to help an alcoholic come off the drink. Oh, that's really cool. Very interesting. I did not know that. I like to have ginger in my my detox drink is usually a bunch of carrots, apples, ginger, like as much as I can handle, lime, and that's usually it. But I need to get back into juicing. It's really healthy and helps to detox the ginger, especially when you get that burning sensation in your body. It's helping to burn out the impurities. AA said Herd SodaStream is pro-Zionist. It really sucks because at this point, like all of the big products, big corporations are owned by the powers that be. So everything that we support is supporting them ultimately. And most of us know what they do for the most part behind closed doors and how they abuse innocence and participate in degeneracy that none of us would consciously want to partake in, to fund. So yeah, we need to get them out of positions of power and turn it around. Aaron says, name one product that isn't. Exactly. AA said, like Herd SodaStream displaces Palestinians from their land for their factories. Really? I did not know that. Do you have a link on that, AA, if there's one floating around? Aaron says Zionism is one faction of many factions of the ruling elite rulers. They own all corporations, all big factories. Again, my question remains, AA, name one product that isn't owned by them. See my point? Exactly. I would love to actually get connected with more flat earth truthers that have their own businesses and stuff. Unfortunately, all of the biggest brands and companies are owned by them, and getting your own started and taking off with it is really hard because the whole system is set up to crush humans down, and basically the way that you're going to get rich is by going along with the system and being part of Satan's system corruption, unfortunately. AA says thoughts about forest fires. A lot of them are started by direct energy weapons and even controlled burns, where the powers that be, they even have firefighters go in and start the fires themselves. If you guys haven't seen my footage on the lava fire, it was like right across from my house. So I got quite a bit of footage from that fire, and one of the nights they were setting off fires, I went across the street and got a closer look. So definitely should look into that. But they're definitely using it as a control mechanism, fear to drive people out of this area, especially California. Mount Shasta is the meeting place of heaven and earth, and it's the root chakra. So if we focus on one spot, whether you are purifying like I am, or whether you're corrupting like the powers that be are, if you focus on this one spot, it's the battle of this one spot that literally determines everything. And right now they're doing so much to try to drive people out of this area, out of California in general. My dad just texted me the other day and asked me if did your governor come and take your he said your lawnmower and your gas generator or something. And I'm like, we've been talking about that, because I had no idea. Like, I don't really watch the news and pay attention, but yeah, they're trying to make everything electric, smart power, blah blah blah. and get rid of everything that is gas powered. So another way that they're trying to push people out of here, take away our rights, make it really just undesirable for humans to live here. If everyone has these electric cars that have to be charged every so often, it's like you're not going to be able to, right now, if I wanted to go across the country, right, I can get some gallons of gas, fill up my car, and get extra gallons of gas in my car and drive, and then fill up whenever and just keep going. But obviously, if you have an electric car, the mileage that you're going to be able to cross without, recharging is going to be a lot less, and you can't carry extra. I mean, I don't know how big the batteries are, but it's like how much extra fuel of whatever manner it is can you actually carry with you to get to from one place to the other. So yeah, and obviously if it's like an electric thing, they can just cut the power to it at any point, and then it doesn't work anymore, right? All right. They could also get rid of all the gas stations so that they can eventually weed out all of the cars. And yeah. Aaron says the ruling 1% are rich for a reason. They own just about everything, and after them, what just happened? Okay. Keep locking entire countries down over the flu. Eventually, no small businesses will remain. That is their goal, to own everything, including us as a slave species, all races. Absolutely. And unfortunately, they do pretty much own everything. And you're absolutely right. Driving all of the small businesses out of business and ultimately getting everybody dependent on them. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't sent out another stimulus check yet, because they do want people to be dependent on them. And so many people would rather just sit at home and receive a paycheck than go out and work. And frankly, I don't blame them. Our souls didn't come here to work a 9 to 5. And it's really sad to see humans getting crushed down and working so hard to try to make ends meet to not ever be able to make ends meet, right? It just keeps getting harder and harder. Thoughts about big agriculture? Sorry, I'm just typing this out here. Obviously, the way that things are right now with the powers that be are all jokes. Even their big farming practices, the harms in one of the things that they do obviously is spraying everything, not just chemicals, but using fluoridated water to grow whatever they're growing. Obviously, I'm against animal farming, but with the food farming, they're really focused on mono fruit cultivation, where that's not natural at all. And if we just, like what I plan to do in the future, having my apple orchard have different permaculture guilds around it to help give back to the soil and to help balance each other out, companion plants. So that's something that we needed to incorporate in the future for the golden age. But I do think that in the golden age, having big productions of food, I'm not against that at all. I want to make sure, especially during the golden age, that people don't go without. So having bigger farming practices that have different permaculture principles incorporated into their growing is definitely something that I support. Obviously, encouraging people to grow their own food is something that we will do, but some people aren't going to want to do that. So we need to make sure that the supply for them is still there if they don't want it to. Some people don't have a green thumb, and they don't feel like their souls came here to grow a potato plant when robots could do it. So okay, let me see what's going on in the chat. Haven't even gotten to today's topic yet. Okay, AA says thought about direct energy weapons. They're very real, and can be used for all sorts of different frequencies for different outcomes, really. Thoughts about the trails? Presumably, you mean the trails that are left behind airplanes, the chemicals that are being sprayed on us, like we are bugs getting sprayed. Obviously, very bad. Trying to kill us off with multiple weapons. It'll be really interesting to see the difference in nature once that stops. Once we get to the golden age where, we're not trying to kill off the earth and the species that are on it. Thoughts about global warming. Well, we don't live on a globe, first of all, and all of the weather that we're seeing is really manipulated, so it's hard to, besides, saying the fact that the weather's being manipulated, it's kind of hard to know what is really going on, apart from the manipulation, what is actually real. And even, it's like, not only just like the HAARP machine and the chemtrails and all this stuff, but all of the deforestation and everything else that's being done to irritate Mother Earth, to change her. All of the oil that we're sucking out. Oil is ultimately the mother's blood, and these little entities on Earth want to go and poke at the mother's blood and suck it out and keep poking and poking and poking. And eventually she's going to, maybe start shaking and say, "What are you doing? Stop taking from me." Like, have a reaction to what is going on. So it's kind of hard to know what is her reacting to what's being done to her and what's being done to her by them. So yes, you can recharge the car with a gas generator until your gas runs out. I wonder how long some of the charging lasts. Like how many miles can you go before you have to charge, and then how long do you have to sit at that charging station until you're full and you can go again? Like, it makes it really inconvenient to actually get anywhere, and that's obviously what they want. We see all of the stuff with the pilots going on, and them walking out, and all these flights getting canceled. On one hand, it's like, yeah, go and fight for your freedoms, but on the other hand, it's like, okay, but we're also it's causing issues for people that are trying to travel and get to where they need to go. And I'm in no way saying that they should, take the jab to make the airlines go. I'm just saying that these situations are causing multiple other issues, with them. It's obvious. Hey, Damien, how's it going? Sage, that's really funny. Have a bunch of gas in your trunk, and then just recharge the generator, or recharge the car with the generator. That's funny. AA said, heard that they are causing disruptions in the demand supply chain. Absolutely, they are trying to create a famine and other panic that comes along with the shelves going empty, people going crazy and buying toilet paper and all the other stuff. We've seen how crazy people go over the toilet paper. Just imagine how it's going to be when they're at the supermarket and they have kids to feed at home and there's only one can of soup left. Like, hopefully people that are watching at least are preparing for what is coming, because you don't want to be in that situation, especially if you have children. AA says, thoughts about GMOs. Obviously, I'm not in favor of the genetic modifications that the powers that be are doing. They want to make everything worse than it was before, and corrupt Yah's creation. Aaron says that the stream's mercury level are up like 90%. They should be close to zero. That's from them dumping their crap. I don't know. Aluminum is very high as well. Wow. Fish is heavily polluted. Yes, I heard that as well. maybe in like a vegan documentary, they talk about how polluted the mercury in the water with the fish. Yeah. They try to promote fish as this really healthy thing to eat. And one of the yogis that I've read from actually says that eating meat in general will shut down your higher chakra centers, but fish specifically not only shuts down the higher centers, but also messes with your lower digestion area because of your intestines. So it's actually worse than the other ones, according to this yogi. That's pretty interesting. AA said they heard that Bill Gates and Jeff, where'd that go? Jeff are funding and pushing for lab-grown food. Yes, and they're trying to say that it is vegan when in reality it's not. If you take your cell, your soul is connected to that piece of DNA. Likewise, if you go to a chicken and take a piece of the chicken's DNA, a part of their cell or a part of their soul is going with that cell. So, whatever you do to that cell is going to be affecting that soul, whether you're doing something good or doing something bad. And obviously, we know that these clowns do bad things. So, bless you. All right. There's a lot going on in the chat. Thank you guys all for being here. So I wanted to oh, wow. Okay. Damien says, while you're here, I took the first jab before they started forcing it. Nearly had a heart attack. I refuse to take any second or other jabs. What advice do you give to people who took the first jab but refuse others? Can we undo or eradicate the harmful effects of the first jab? I always tell people to purify, every week I lead a 24-hour dry fast. And that helps to, stop putting things in. And for that whole 24 hours, your body can work at healing and detoxing and clearing out the stuff that you've been putting in for your entire life. So that's pretty much what I recommend is obviously raw veganism, to put the most pure things in if you're going to eat, and fasting and grounding. These are the three primary things that can literally fix any disease, any virus, any cancer that you have. It's really quite simple, although it's really hard to do. Giving up food, not drinking for an entire day is not something that most people want to hear. They would rather just have a pill or, even a surgery to fix the issue. And that's not what natural healing is all about. So, yeah, I'm not sure. There's probably other herbs and stuff that you could use, Damien, to help detox, but I am not an expert in those things. I'm mainly an expert in torturing myself by dry fasting and finding the healing and results that I'm looking for through that. So, yes. And you're 100% vegan. That's awesome. And you'll try a dry fast. Very cool. When I tried the first one that I tried to do 24 hours, it was really miserable. I couldn't make it the whole time. I cried. I broke the fast. It was really hard. So don't get discouraged. It's something to build up to, and you can do it. You're not alone. Okay, let's look and see what else is happening here. Thoughts about water-powered cars. Ultimately, in the future, I think that we should have cars that are run off of the free energy that is around us, and cut back as many restrictions as we can so that people can travel freely. If you can tap into the right frequency, there's literally unlimited source of free energy all around us. So having cars and everything, pretty much everything else run off of that free energy is something that I'm really interested in implementing for the future. Thoughts about silk, worm webs. I don't know, not something that I'm interested in. Obviously, I've seen some of the methods that they go about getting silk and how they'd have like crates and just stack and stack and stack of like things that are this big, just full of these worms. It's just like, whoa, it's really not good. Your thoughts about wool. Wool is an interesting subject because of the fact that humans have bred sheep to overproduce their wool. So, we basically, have created this issue, and now we have sheep that are overproducing their wool, and it can become hazardous for the sheep, right? If the sheep is unnaturally producing too much wool, especially during the summer, it can actually overheat. You could kill the sheep. It could be like a really big, an obstacle. It can get stuck in things because it has so much wool. It can cover their eyes. They can't see. And also, their waist can get stuck in the wool on the backside if it's not taken care of. So I think we do have a responsibility to make sure that these animals that we've created this problem. Now we need to bring a solution to the table. And the solution is to make sure that the animal is taken care of in the most gentle and loving way possible. Just like, people have dogs and cats that a long-haired dog, you take it to the groomer, and the person who grooms your animal, who gives them a shave, can either be nice to them or, toss the animal around, beat it up, and be really rough with it, right? Unfortunately, you'll see videos online of people shearing sheep, and they have competitions of like who can do it the fastest. So the care of the animal is in the complete opposite like arena of what they're even dealing with. They're like, how fast can we get this off? Who cares if we nick and cut the sheep on the way? All that they care about is the wool. So we've created a problem, and we need to be the solution to the problem in the best way possible, and creating a paradise for those sheep, and making sure that they're taken care of. When they need haircuts, they get a haircut. They're loved. There are people out in this world that would love to hang out and make sure that sheep are happy all day long. And I know because I'm one that would love to be around cows. So I know that there's people out there that would love to, help take care of the sheep and, make the world a better place for them. Strider wins. Hi, how's it going? Sage says a really elaborate seed bank would be nice. Absolutely, it would. AA says thoughts about rife frequencies. I'm not sure what you mean by rife frequencies. They got a party coming in here. I have never looked into rife frequencies, so I do not know what that means. GNN says somebody already made an automobile that runs off of water, but they knocked him off because it would mess up the industry. Yes, I have heard about that as well. Damien says problem with wool is the sheep end up suffering if they're not helped, thanks to selective breeding. Very sad. Exactly. And some vegans, unfortunately, don't want to, to deal with the issue. They want to say it's very black and white, and you don't do this to sheep if you're vegan, and whatever. But the fact of the matter is that veganism, we have to do what is right for the animal. And if you had a long-haired dog, like I said, if hair's getting in its eyes, you're not going to take it to the barber, whatever you call it, animal groomer, and get it fixed. It's just like the same thing that we need to do with sheep, and it can be done in a loving manner. So just got real quiet in here. Okay. So, yes, Damien, I won't use wool, but I'll support helping sheep. Yes, in the golden age, obviously, if there is, all of this wool, it can definitely be used to, there are homeless people on the streets, and if they could have a blanket that has the wool that was taken from sheep that were really actually taken care of, and the wool was taken off to save their life, then I think we should repurpose the materials that we have to make sure that people have what they need, but stop making further problems. Stop breeding these animals to be suppliers for us. So let us finally get on the topic of today's subject is free will evil. Somebody asked me this, and I said no. The choice to choose between good and evil itself is not evil. What is evil is choosing to do evil with your free will. So the conversation was kind of geared around the powers that be and how, Satanists are ultimately using their free will to do what they do. And ultimately the argument came up that Satanists have more fun, and that, my future child would have more fun if I allowed him to be on Team Satan, to choose his free will to be on Team Satan. And let me just back up for a second. I personally have like an idealized version of the future, and it's continuing down this path to the golden age, but ultimately having a son. I would be happy with just one baby. I'm open to having more, but like at this point in time I kind of see myself having only one and having a baby boy who will ultimately become the king. So that is the line of, that's how my mind is working towards. So when I get asked these things, when I'm talking in these conversations, I have this in mind, and the whole idea of my son being, coming into this world and getting dressed up as a girl and playing for Team Satan because it's more fun, because Satanists run the world and have all of the money and get to do whatever they want. Obviously that's problematic. I'm not sitting here making parenting decisions on which timeline my child will have more fun in, especially when the fun comes at the cost of his soul. My parenting advice is always to do what is best for the child, not the whole promotion of that we see in society of whatever your child thinks, you should support them, and any delusions or confusion that they have, you should support them. It's their free will to choose whether they do this or do that. It's their free will to choose if they're a boy or a girl. And I think that it's our responsibility to not only lead and guide our children, but to be aware of these other agendas, be aware of the fact that there are outside sources that'll go to your child and whisper in there and try to confuse them about their gender, try to influence them to do bad things. And it's your responsibility as a parent to help lead and guide your child to the destiny that is the best for their soul. Their child's soul did not come into this world to be a clown. So hopefully you are parenting them in a way that will not turn them into a clown. But yeah, the whole conversation was basically the inverts would argue that my child would have fun as one of them, would have more fun as one of them, and I definitely don't agree with that. So, yeah, we need to be aware and ultra concerned with what is going on, especially for those of you who have children. If you don't have children, then obviously all this spiel didn't really have anything to do with you. But if you are going to have children in the future, you just need to do what is right by them, and keep in mind that their soul did not come in here to be a clown. It's our responsibility to make sure that our children are not clowns. AA says thoughts about large families. It's kind of funny because back in the day, I, wanted, my ideal vision back in the day was to have a son, and then like 2 years later have a daughter, and then a few years later hopefully have twins. Like I wanted a really big family. I come from a pretty big family. My mom has 6 brothers and sisters, so it's definitely something that I've been around and I loved having. But personally, for me, I think that I would rather just have one child and focus all of my love and attention on them. I've seen how, after one kid, then another one comes along, and there's like this sibling rivalry of, now my new little baby brother or sister's getting all the attention that I got. And yeah, it's not, I don't know. I'm open to anything, though. It's not that I'm against having more than one child. It's just that right now, I think that would be the ideal for me. Thoughts about polygamy? Absolutely not. I promote monogamy, and I don't believe that it's healthy to share. In this regard, at least, and in a lot of regards, don't share diseases either. But yeah, anyways, I don't know how people can share. For me, it's like, if you're going to be with me, then that's it, and there's nobody else. Adding another person into the dynamic is really just creates grounds for jealousy and anger and confusion and a bunch of just negativity. It's just, I don't believe it's what our creator wanted either. I think that it's best when one male and one female, come into a relationship and they are working together to become the best versions of themselves physically and spiritually. GNN says, do you know information on soul retrieval to the ones who suffer from soul loss and dark night of the soul? I have not researched these. I don't really subscribe to the idea that you can lose your soul. But yeah, I've not looked into soul retrieval before, no. Billy and Gary's McCutcheon says, what's the difference between Myles Garrett and Kobe Bryant, or Justin Bieber and Weeknd, or they others? I don't know who Myles Garrett is. Let's see. There's a lot of misinformation going on around about a lot of these characters being each other, and let's see. Kobe Bryant, that's his name. Her name. I would probably have to look a little bit more into this, but they don't even have the same skin color, for one. I think that more often than not, they don't play multiple characters. It's the case that multiple puppets will play one character. Yeah, I don't believe that Justin Bieber is The Weeknd. There's pictures I've posted of them together, so that one is kind of easily disproven. Now, whether they have Justin Bieber dress up as this other character that already existed, that would be a different story. But I've seen pictures of them in a picture together, multiple pictures. So it really doesn't make any sense that people are promoting that. Strider Wynn says, I'm scared to have kids in these times. Me too. That's why I need to wait for the golden age for sure. The Enlightened Man says, Manic, I don't know. You think a possible mega tsunami that will hit the north of America? Yes, on my YouTube community page, I've posted before, and on Facebook, there's a map that was released or leaked by the military of the future USA, and the coastlines are just really devastated on both sides. Mount Shasta has a coastline close to the beach, which I'm obviously not sad about. Hopefully people do heed the warnings and get out of the way before all that happened. But I'm not really sure how they're gonna, they like to put the truth in plain sight and kind of warn people a little bit to relieve themselves of karma. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that with all of these. I know, in so many media movies and stuff, we've seen giant tsunami waves and other stuff in New York and stuff like that. So AA says, thoughts about the decline in sperm counts. Well, that can be from multiple different things. Obviously, what you eat, if you're exposed to different radiation or frequencies and other things like that, the powers that be are definitely trying to attack our reproductive everything, right? And that's for males and females. So not only is the sperm count getting attacked, but also females. I don't know about you. This is just something I'm going to touch really quick and not go into details. But once I started to wake up, like the products that they give us for our monthly time of that month, I don't trust them at all. I want to be able to have a baby someday, and the fact of the matter is that they could be putting all sorts of harmful chemicals on those things, specifically, because they're used for that area. So be really careful. A Diva cup is something that you can look into, that's sustainable and doesn't have fresh chemicals going into you all the time. Okay. Tsunami Media says, yeah, none of us came here to be a clown. Absolutely. Thanks for joining, Daniel. Aaron says, someone asked about the difference between Lucifer and Satan above and on us specifically. Did I miss this? Oh, here it is, Damien. What's the difference between Satan and Lucifer? You speak of inverted Satanists, but have referred to Lucifer as a female entity. Yes, because female Lucifer was originally a nickname for Venus when she rises before the sun, bearing the light. And over time, Satanists have confused the whole situation, calling Satan a light bearer when he's not. Confusing the whole issue. And yes, so Lucifer, light bearer, in the Latin phrase, light bearer, it was for Venus, like I said, and she was known to the ancients as a purifier. So you can see how they've taken this female entity who was seen as a purifier, good, and they've now turned it into a male corrupter. So it's very sad, but it's so many times, especially with the feminine divine getting demonized, the Queen of Heaven being demonized. Thanks for asking that, Damien. Sorry I did not say that. And thank you, Aaron, for pointing out that I missed that. AA says there are healthy polygamous relationships, though. I do not agree. I've never seen one before. And anyone who says that they have one, I'd like to see them in my own private counseling session, because I'm sure that I could peel back the wallpaper on some problems in their house, if you will. The Mongoose says, I always thought if I were going to have kids, I would have two, because I would worry that one would be lonely. That does make sense logically, but also then it's like, then you'd have to worry about separating yourself between them both so that one doesn't feel like you love them more than the others. Interesting balancing act. My mom had 5 kids. I was the second, so yeah. My sister came out as like a perfect adult, and then I came out as a little rebel. Like, I got in trouble for being in the kitchen, and then I say, 2 seconds later, I'm running back out into the kitchen and doing exactly what I just got in trouble for. So it's kind of funny. I'm like, my younger brothers get away with anything now because I broke my parents. AA says thoughts about cloning. Cloning is interesting. If you clone, let's just start with one thing, that twins are nature's clone. And when you clone something, it shares the soul with the original. So if I were to take some of my skin and try to make a clone with it, then part of my soul is going with that as well. So yeah, a lot of people don't really understand how cloning actually works. They think that maybe you just step into a machine and it scans you and then comes out with a full-grown adult, when in reality it's as a child, like starting from a little baby and growing up from there. The powers that be definitely use cloning. They have many lookalikes, and we've most of us already know that they try to keep their bloodlines pure. So they do inbreeding and all sorts of other unnatural things, especially, the fact that they're inverted clones. They have to use these unnatural methods of reproduction. Well, they don't actually have to. They could, have the FTM carry the baby after she's impregnated by the MTF, but it doesn't happen all too often. And when it does, we have pictures like that picture of Vin Diesel pregnant smoking on a boat. So that's funny. Billy and Gary's is asking what's the difference between Amy Winehouse and Lady Gagme. I do not believe that they're the same either. I didn't know that Sarah Silverman was even in the running for this, but yes. As far as Little Bow Wow goes, Lil Bow Wow would be a biological female, and Lil Mama would be a biological male. So they would definitely not be the same character. It's so quiet in here right now. It's like everybody's attention's on me. Okay. Aaron says, i.e. Rothschild took out, inbreds, some resemble others. Absolutely. They inbreed to try and keep their bloodlines. Yes, Rothschild took out the Russian Tsars. They interbreed to attain the other bloodline and its power. The enlightened Manic says La Palma Mega Tsunami channel to sub to get updates of the possible mega tsunami. Bushcraft Bear YouTube channel. My advice: move from the coastline. The elite planning this probably with HAARP. Yes. Thanks for those channels. If anybody is interested in looking at the tsunami that is being talked about here. GNN says not believe the ones who took it. Scared if you detox fast and take P73 oregano oil, you will be in a different spot than before. I've never heard of this oregano oil before. That's interesting. Let's see. Thank you guys for joining me on this beautiful day. P73 oil of oregano is an abounding source of a variety of vitamins and minerals. Huh. All right. That's interesting. What have you noticed is different when you take the P73 oregano oil, GNN? Daniel says, hey, Inanna, how are you? You're looking great. Love you. Thank you. Hopefully you're doing great as well. Yes, Damien, another example of inverto. Yes, it's like everything is inverted around here. Strader Wind says, how's your dreams been? I've been having lots of lucid dreams lately. Very interesting. The one dream that came to my mind was that I was working at the Kirby again, this restaurant that I worked at in Grand Haven, Michigan, and I have like nightmares about working at this place. Like, I'll get to work and everything is just going wrong. My whole section's already filled up with people that are impatient. Like, it's just chaos. But other than that, I haven't really had any good dreams recently, or any other dreams, to speak of other than that. So, Damien says, all makes you wonder what the inverto think they will gain in the end. They must be naive to think it will be a happy ending. Well, nothing is guaranteed ultimately, and if we don't stand together against their new world order, that's the default ending, and they are happy in it, right? They retain control and have humans under complete tyranny, and during the time before this, thousands of years, these Satanists have been in charge. So they've been the ones with all the money, the fame, the popularity for thousands of years. So it makes sense on one hand, but then you have to understand that they're doing it at the cost of their soul. They're becoming clowns. They're becoming darker, more degenerate souls. So it's really not worth the temporary fame and fortune that comes with Satan's promises. Strider Wind says, I've had dreams about white rabbits. That's interesting. Are they leading you down rabbit holes? Thoughts about astral projection. I would definitely recommend anybody that's doing astral projection, make sure that you basically pray for protection over your body when you leave it, because other entities can come into your body when you are gone. I don't think that it's bad or negative, but it should be warned. And lucid dreaming is pretty interesting. I don't know that I've ever had a lucid dream, but being able to kind of be conscious in your dreams and make the decisions is definitely something I've heard from a lot of people before, but never experienced it for myself to speak of firsthand. Oil of oregano is powerful. Oregano oil kills nanotech bots. Thoughts about big tech? Obviously, the powers that be and their technology is anti-human, but I am really pro advanced technology as long as it's not controlled by them. When I first woke up, I was like, oh no, robots are going to come and take over human jobs. And now I'm like, sweet, robots are going to come over and take over human jobs so that we don't have to do them anymore. We can use advanced technology to serve humanity. And obviously, like I was saying, the powers that be need to be removed from power before that happens, because I don't trust them as far as I can throw them with anything. Aaron says, do Terra makes a 100% purity oregano oil, essential oil, homeopathic grade? 5 years with no cold. That's really interesting. And you, Aaron, do you think that that's just because of the oil of oregano, or also, your other being vegan and other health measures, preventative measures? Yeah. AA, thoughts about the Kabbalah? I think that all of these texts that we have been corrupted and demonized and filled with evil and misinterpretations, mistranslations. I've never specifically read the Kabbalah myself, but I do think that probably has a lot of truth in it, but obviously mixed with a lot of lies. So pretty much anything that you come across, you're going to want to try to discern what the truth is from the lies. And any books at this point, any texts that we have, I just don't trust it, unfortunately. Damien says, even if we fail, they won't succeed. In the end, they will be eaten alive by their moronic followers. Well, that would be a very interesting end. Okay. Thoughts about healing frequencies from AA? Yes. I get it. I don't know what you're talking about here, but don't be saying that here in my chat. Give me 1 second. Healing frequencies, yes. Obviously, different frequencies can be used to hurt us, but they can also be used to heal us. There's a ton of solfeggio frequencies that can be used for different, from pain healing to helping with relationships. Solfeggio frequencies, definitely look into that if you're interested. You can leave them on when you're sleeping at night to help, alleviate pain, and interesting stuff like that. So I definitely encourage people to look into that. Any natural method of healing, anything to get away from Big Pharma and all of their evil is definitely something that I encourage. AA said that they heard from someone that they blocked astral projection beyond Antarctica. Interesting. I have never tried to astral project to Antarctica, so I wouldn't know, but that'd be interesting if you have like an article or anything that if you have wherever you heard that from, that'd be pretty cool to listen or read. Aaron says combined oils and veganism. Yes. No fast food, no junk. Wow. That's really impressive. I eat a lot of junk vegan food. Thoughts about AI? AA says AI ultimately, well, there's multiple things. So first, the AI, like the clone, shares the soul of the creator. So whoever's creating the technology, whatever that technology, if it goes out and kills a bunch of humans, it's like that AI is connected to its soul. So that one soul that is making it is going to be having the consequences of the actions of the machine that it makes. So for that reason, it wouldn't be surprising at all to me to find that the powers that be are using real males or females to do the actual programming so that, they get the consequences. But it could go either way for that. So yeah, it shares the soul of its creator. And what is the other thing I was going to say about AI? Oh, for the golden age, the core programming of the AI is ultimately what matters. And if the core programming in it is to serve humanity, then that's how you keep it from, killing humanity. And obviously, that Sophia AI bot that they're trying to promote, I think that was Sophia, the one that was said they were going to kill humans or something. Definitely trying to scare us, but the powers that be, they do have access to this technology and they can use it against us. So it's not like, something that isn't of concern. It should be of concern that these psychopaths are creating. Aaron says diffusing essential oils can help all kinds of ailments. Make sure to use 100% purity. That's really cool. I've seen a lot of people talking about diffusers and stuff for essential oils. I've not gotten into them myself. Interesting. I actually bought them for my cousin when she had her baby shower. So, AA says thoughts about NoFap. I always encourage people to, I should say guys, because it's not guys, obviously, to practice semen retention. And I talked about this a little bit last week, or maybe on Wednesday's video. About how your life force energy, getting rid of it all the time, being sexually corrupt and satisfied, serves to keep us all, docile. That energy that you have to go and fight the powers that be can be very easily drained from you with an orgasm. So it's like, they definitely use it as a way to control us. Also, with the nutrients and life force energy that's being thrown away, all of that could be going to you, to growing your body, to feeding your brain and making you more intelligent, making you funnier, making you, last longer in age, your life force energy being constantly depleted. And to think that they try to encourage little boys to do it from as early age as possible. It's really, really sad. Obviously, I'm against female masturbation too, but this is talking about NoFap, and, I was going to say it's more of an issue, but I don't know nowadays, because they're definitely trying to corrupt us females more and more, and encourage, masturbation or homosexuality, anything that is, not procreative at all, not uplifting to the soul, and not as our creator intended. Whoa, what's going on here? Hey, Eric, how's it going? Glad you can make it. GNN says they're trying to switch to digital currency so it can be traced. I heard. You heard about the U.S. running out of money. I have heard the first part about them switching to digital currency, not only to trace us wherever we go, but also so that, they can take the money at any time they want. If we step out of line, whoops, there went the backspace button. Now you don't have any money in your account. Sorry, little one. Yes, but I have not heard about the U.S. running out of money. It doesn't really make sense that the U.S. would run out of money, because we literally have a Federal Reserve that prints money out of thin air. But I understand that they're, trying to cause all sorts of panic, and crashing the economy is not something far off from that. Thoughts about virtual reality, says AA. That is an interesting question, and probably another way that they're going to pacify people, giving us, all sorts of technology and fun things to keep us distracted. Go and play your Xbox and play Modern Warfare or whatever. I don't even know if people play that anymore, but play a game on the computer or whatever to keep you from doing these things in real life, from actually doing something important, and doing what your soul came here to do, right? All of these video games is definitely not what our souls came here to do. As fun as they can be to pass the time, I would encourage you to start playing chess and actually, putting your effort and your brain mental power towards something that is actually going to make you more impressive into the spiritual world and to me. Thoughts about augmented reality. I don't really have any thoughts about augmented reality. Thoughts about the Bitcoin. I am against cryptocurrencies, as I said before. Like we were just talking about, they can be used to just delete. They want all of your money. If you can invest in it and then get out and have a chunk of money, then, more power to you. But I encourage people to actually go and get silver and gold and actual precious metals that you can hold into your hands. Something that is real, is tangible, that you can fight, kill, and die over rather than some numbers on a screen. Aaron says, I eat junk food, but not McDonald's or any of that crap, meaning LOL. I also eat Guardian and other processed, non-GMO, but still processed food. Okay. That makes sense. I do too. What do you think about that McPlant sandwich, Aaron? I personally am against McDonald's, but obviously I love that they are offering, vegan options at more and more places. If someone goes to McDonald's and orders the vegan sandwich instead of a cow sandwich, then that's like one victory for the day. So that's pretty exciting. GNN says, even as simple as staring at a nice car is giving up your energy. Yep. Very true. A says, supposedly Sophia Bot was heard saying things against Muslims. Huh. Yeah, I think that one, someone already did say that was the one that was going to kill humans. Damien said that he was a very late bloomer and is not embarrassed about that. That is good. It's really sad how all of the, kids are all growing up together and they're put in this peer pressure situation from a really young age. I don't really feel like it's healthy. I'm going to be homeschooling my children and keeping them away from everybody else's children. GNN says that's why they throw sexual stuff in everyone's faces. Absolutely. Yes, and unfortunately, that is the world that we are in. I understand the world that we are in, and I work with the parameters of the world that I am given to do what I am ultimately, driving to do. The people that click on my pictures and all of this stuff, it's like the message comes with it. So they have to hear the purification message with the picture of the pretty girl. It's not just, a one-sided thing. And I'm definitely not doing it, It's not about sex for me. I'm a Virgo. I see sex as something as sacred that should be, between two people that are actually in love. And, in the context of love and righteousness and purification, really. Okay. AA said, heard that seed oils are bad. Yes, I've heard that as well. I've never really looked into it. Mostly I use coconut oil, and that's for everything, especially oil pulling. If you guys haven't researched oil pulling, you definitely should. People have actually healed cavities with oil pulling. So, yeah, you can make your own toothpaste out of coconut oil as well. AA said no fap is for ladies as well. Okay. I've only ever seen it in relation to semen retention from males. Okay. Aaron says, another trick by the elite. When I juice apples, I juice with the seeds. Very healthy. They ban seeds because they know their health benefit and want us to stay sick. Very, very interesting. Yeah. They do have a lot of health benefits. If you eat a lot of apple seeds, I think it's cyanide that, if you eat too many Could be another seed I'm thinking about, but I want to say it's apples. I've known a few people that eat their apple seeds though. Pretty cool. AA says thoughts about hypersexualization. Goes right along with what I was just saying. I really actually hate that everything is so sexualized. During the golden age, it won't be that way. The programming, taking your focus off sexualization and putting it on things that actually matter. It's always really bothered me that, people, that the minutes of pleasure that you have is worth, just disrespecting your soul. Yeah, it's really sad that people don't see sex for what it is, and don't treat it as the sacred bond that it is. Damien says, I love chess. Let me know if you want to play. Awesome. I usually play on the chess app, so you can play people from all over. It's pretty cool. Let's see here. I'm probably going to have to head out soon. I'm kind of camping at this. Cryptocurrencies are a joke, Damien says. Investing in capital, gold, silver, diamonds, absolutely. Crypto will not survive a massive solar flare eradication of our electronic grid. I'm not sure anything about solar flares, but yeah, if they take down the electric grid, then we're pretty screwed. Gian says, I was lucid dreaming by this giant green wall like emerald or something in this jungle, trying to see if this rings a bell to someone. That sounds really beautiful. Aaron says, I haven't tried the McPlant sandwich, but I have had the KFC plant-based. It's very unhealthy, though. High calories and sodium, but not bad tasting, I guess. Yeah, can't really expect it to be the healthiest thing when we're literally asking it to taste like corpses, but yeah. Is the McPlant available in your area, Aaron? It's not available here yet. Hey, Jane, how's it going? No worries. No need to apologize here. Aaron says, I stay unhealthy because it is... Oh, I say unhealthy because it's GMO soy as far as I know. Otherwise, it's a good start towards more plant-based foods. Arsenic for apples. Yeah, I think so, too. Or wait. Which one was it? Apple seeds. Some of the problems associated with high consumption of apple seeds is cyanide. Yeah. Yep. It was cyanide. No McPlant here. It seems like a lot of these new things are all getting launched in the UK. It makes me really jealous of them. But as much as I would want to visit the UK someday, the whole, not allowed to own any guns thing is not something that I would be comfortable with. Ultimately, I think everybody should have guns to protect yourself from the powers that be, protect yourself from anything else, especially when crap hits the fan and people go crazy. You're going to want to make sure that you can defend yourself. Arsenic is apricot kernels. That might be... I think there's a children's birthday party. This actually says apricot kernels do not contain arsenic. Interesting. I think that there's different though, because there's some apricot seeds that are what is it called? Sweet, and some of them that are sour, or not sour. Bitter. That's the right word. Okay, bitter. Bitter one. Let's see. I'm not sure. Anyways, I know that the bitter kernels have healing properties, and they're hard to get your hands on sometimes. Okay. GNN says, isn't a gun the highest form of dark magic? That's an interesting question, but I'm not... The highest form of dark magic? I don't know. Wouldn't that be like...
I was here first.
Maybe if the gun was made out of like a baby that you killed or something. I'm not really sure how it would be How would it be the highest form of dark magic? It's something that I'll have to ponder about, but
Quit trying to confuse me.
I'm not sure. Peach seeds. No, this is funny. It's funny. Oh, everyone's talking about this. Nope. It actually says that cyanide is found in the peach seeds as well. Interesting. All right. These people are getting ready to watch a football game. So that gun question is kind of interesting. I'll have to come back to that, but I'm gonna get ready to head off here, and I will catch up with you. What day is it today? Today is Sunday. Tomorrow I'll be doing the 24-hour dry fast. So if you can join me, please make sure that you do. Otherwise, I will be back here on Wednesday at 3:33 to answer some more of your questions and chat with you. And we'll come back to this, the gun being the highest form of dark magic question. Thank you all for joining me. As Eric says, we love you. Thank you. I love you guys too. Thank you again for joining and bringing all this great discussion to the chat. And I look forward to doing it with you again soon.